It's going to be kind of a little big day today. Are you ready? Hey everyone, Cristin Som here, and we are continuing with our Jingle All the Way quilt, and oh my gosh, we're getting so far. So on our last tutorial, we finished section 8, and we also finished section 9, and I told you not to sew them together. You can see they are not the same size yet. We'll have to add to section 9 to be able to get it to fit right, so don't sew those together just yet. We also have all the other sections and all the extra blocks, and oh my gosh, we are just jamming along, and today it's gonna feel really like we are jamming along. So let's go over, it's kind of a lot of information, so pay attention, get ready. I'm thinking that we can do this in 2 hoopings depending completely on your hoop size, and if it's too much, just come back to it afterward, take a little break, don't worry, it's all good, your quilt your way. All right, so today I'm just going to go over all of it in parts. So by the end of today, if we get it all done, we'll have section 10 completely done, section 11 completely done, and one little part of section 13 to add to it later. We'll just put it in the packet and leave it for later. And the reason is because we'll have some extra hoop space. So again, depending on your hoop size, but it's going to be kind of a big day. It'll be easy. There is some information. This last No Time Like the Presents block, there's some weird stuff to it. So let's just talk about it and we'll go over each of the parts. So let's start with No Time Like the Presents. So No Time Like the Presents, in my oldest Jingle book, it is on page 10, and there are A, B, and C parts to it. All right, A, B, and C, just like before. So A is the white part at the top where the bow is. B is the left and the right side of the present, and C is the part that looks like a ribbon. All right, so we're just going to go over each of these parts, and just don't get overwhelmed because we'll go over all of it separately, and you can always pause the video and come back to it, whatever works for you. So it's just kind of nice when we can add it into a hooping to save space time. Sorry, I hit my light. I'm good at doing that. All right, so section 10, No Time Like the Present. So let's start with the first one, which is A. All right, A is the top of the present. So we are going to use, let's see, it's got snowflakes on it. So our white fabric, I don't know if you can see the snowflakes on there, probably not, but there are snowflakes on it. So any white fabric, whatever you've got. Now this one, let's see, our quilting design is 4 by 6. So that means I recommended cutting this to 5 by 7. So in the book, it'll say 4.5 by 6.5. Have I confused you yet? All right, so like I've always said, and from the prep video as well, I recommend cutting it to 5 by 7. It's actually going to go this way. So 5 by 7, it gives you that wiggle room. It gives you that tack down. It helps for cutting as long as you measure it. Make sure that you are backing this with fusible stabilizer so that you don't have puckering. You don't have it pulling in those stitches, all right? So backed with fusible stabilizer, and like I said, I recommend 5 by 7. This is for No Time Like the Presents number 3, our third No Time Like the Presents, and this is for the A part, the part that's at the top of the present. All right, so again, 5 by 7 if you're able. If you've already cut it, you didn't see it on the prep video, and it's at 4.5 by 6.5, that's okay, that will work, don't worry. All right, and then back with fusible stabilizer. Now our batting is going to be 5 by 7. All right, 5 by 7 for your batting for this A block. All right, 5 by 7 for your batting. Now this one, we are going to quilt this with Winter 1. That's the snowflakes. It's really cute. There is a vertical and a horizontal. Let's see, I've written myself so many notes, and I don't have vertical or horizontal. So I'll tell you, oh, I do have it. Horizontal. We're going to use horizontal. You should see all the notes on here. Oh my gosh, like messy. So much stuff, because the older book, it doesn't have quite all the information that we're used to, and we kind of wing it a little bit. So I've got a lot of notes in here. So 4 by 6, Winter 1, that's the one with the snowflakes, and I'm going to use the horizontal design. All right, horizontal. It comes in horizontal or vertical. All right, so that's the first part. A for the present block, no time like the presents. So B, this is the one that's a little bit weird, just a warning. So no time like the presents, the fabric is this black holly leaves, and I don't believe I have a substitute for it. So I think that means that you should have received it from our sponsor. Yeah, there was not a substitution. So if you purchased from long ago and have saved it all these years, then you would have this block, or this fabric. But also, if you purchased from Oma Darlings, our sponsor for this project, she was able to get some of this for us. So that was very nice of her. So on this black holly leaves, fusible backing on the back to make sure it's not pulling in those stitches. And this one, so in the book, it says to cut it to 3 by 10 and a half, 3 by 10 and a half. So my recommendation is 4 by 11. All right. I said on the prep video, if you can cut it a little bit bigger, I recommend 4 by 11, but either way will work. So, and then same for your batting. So 2 pieces of batting, because this is 2 pieces. So this is the left and the right side of the gift. All right. This is for B, left and right side of the present. And again, 4 by 11 backed with fusible stabilizer. And then your batting also 4 by 11. All right, 4 by 11 for your batting, 2 pieces. There's a left and a right side of our present, so you want 2 pieces of that batting, 4 by 11. All right, now this is where it gets a little weird. So there is, if you look at the Jingle All the Way bundle of the quilting designs from Kimberbell, it has a guide of what they recommend or what they used, or I don't know, however they figured it out, of quilting designs for those that don't want to choose their own designs. So on there, it says to use a 6 by 10 quilting design for both of these pieces. So you could do that if you didn't already cut your fabric and you had this all together, but in my opinion, that's going to be too tight. I'm not going to do that. I'm doing 2 pieces. So you could, if you have it all together and you haven't already cut, you could use a 6 by 10 quilting design, and then we'll just cut it in half. You will have those cuts. I'm not going to do it that way. So whatever works for you. It does say in the guide 6 by 10 quilting design, and the quilting design they used is Christmas 7. That's the one with the holly leaves, because it's the holly fabric. Cute, right? So I'm going to do it a little bit different, and I already took a look at it on Embroidery, and I'm going to stretch it. So I am going to do, I'll show you when we get to the computer, but I'm going to use a 2.5 by, oh, it's 2 by 10. It's called 2 by 10 quilting design. It's really 2.5 by 10.5, as you know, and I'm going to stretch it. And I looked at it, I stretched it to 3.5 inches wide, and I'll show you on the computer when we get to the computer. It looks great. So that's how I'm going to do it. That will tack down both pieces. It will give me my my leeway without having to worry about it. That's how I'm going to do it. Again, your quilt your way. Do whatever works for you. But I'm going to do that. I'm going to use Christmas 7. I'm going to use 2 by 10 quilting design, and I'm going to stretch it and make it a little bit wider. You could, whatever works for you, like really, you could do a bigger quilting design and just have it run off on the edges and then cut it. Either way, it's not going to be a problem. All right, so 4 by 10 for your fabric if you're able, and same thing with your batting. And then quilting design, I'm going to do 2 of them at 2 by 10, and I'm going to stretch it, and I'll show you when we get to the computer. All right, and like I said, Kimberbell says that you could do a 6 by 10 on one of the fabrics, one big fabric. Obviously you would need it bigger. In the book it doesn't say that. It says 4 by 10, or no, 3 by 10.5. So this one's a little bit confusing. Don't get too confused. I'm going to bring you over the computer, show you how it works. It will be fine. All right, so that is for B. For C, that is the ribbon. So it's going to look like a present ribbon down the center. And this one, again, it's a little bit weird because the cut size, so let's go over the fabric first. So this one is the dot, circles, flowers, I don't know what you call it. And I recommended cutting this, let's see, I think I said, let me just look real quick just to be sure. So on the presents, that's on page 10 of my book. So it shows it as cutting it to 1.5 by 10.5, 1.5 by 10.5. So that means I recommend cutting it to 2 by 11 if you're able to, 2 by 11. All right, and then the quilting design on this one, this is where it gets a little bit weird. It says to use, where's my little notes here? What did they say? They said a 2x10 quilting design, and that will work. You could do that. It will just make it so that it runs off, because this fabric is only 1.5. Actually, ours is 2x10, so you could do a 2x10, whatever works for you. I'm going to do a border design. So a border design, because so if it's a 1.5, our final cut size is going to be 1.5 by 10.5. So that means that we'll have just, this little strip of ribbon down the center of our present, and we only need the quilting to be 1 inch. All right. So it's only going to be, if our final cut size is 1.5 inches, and we've got our 1/4 inch seam allowance on each side, that means that we only need 1 inch of quilting. So like I said, you could do a 2x10. I believe there is a 2x10 in the Holly Leaves Christmas 7. You could do that and just have it run off the sides, and then we'll cut it. But I always kind of wonder about, like, if you do that, are the little quilting, or is it going to pull up the quilting? That's my personal little scare moment. I don't want that to happen. So, and we only need 1 inch of quilting. So I'm going to use a border design. And I looked at our Jingle All the Way quilting bundle, and there is a border design that is 1x10. So that's kind of perfect. So I'm going to do that. It's the border. If you look in the Jingle All the Way quilting bundle, it's the border design. It'll say it. I think it showed it down toward the bottom, the border design, 1x10. So the only other thing though is the 1x10 is like 9.5 inches long. So I'm going to stretch it a little bit longer to make it the full 10 inches of quilting. Again, personal choice. Nobody's going to notice. You can do whatever works for you. So on this one, 2x11 is the fabric that I suggest if you have the space for it. And there is a substitute from our sponsor. They didn't have this flowers, dots, circles, all the things. So what they suggested is the red multi-dot fabric. We used this for We Wished You a Merry Christmas, I think it was, or maybe it was Ginger. I'm not sure. One of those, or even both of them probably. But anyway, so you would have received this one from our sponsor. If you ordered just recently from Oma Darlings, they would have sent you this one. All right, so either one, if you're able to cut it 2x11, great. If 1.5 by 10.5 is as big as you've got, that will work. Don't worry. All right, so and then on your batting, I've got so many things here. On your batting, 2x11 for your batting. All right, 2x11 for your batting. And then our quilting design, like I said, I'm going to use the border design that's in the Jingle All the Way quilting bundle. It is holly leaves, just like the Christmas 7. So either one of those would work. If you want to use the 2x10 quilting design of the Christmas 7 holly leaves, or the border design to get that 1 inch, either one, whatever works for you. All right. All right, that is all for the No Time Like the Presents. So we got the first part done, and I'll show you how we're going to join all of these into the hoopings. That will make it easy, because the way that I've got it, you'll see that we've got a little bit of rim to be able to add a little bit more. All right, so the next one we're going to talk about is the border blocks for section 10. And that is on pages 13 and 15 of the oldest Jingle book. There are just a couple of them here, and one substitution as well. So on this one, it looks like we have, for section 10 specifically, we have 2 border blocks. All right, so let's go over those in order. So the first one is number 20, border block number 20, and it is this black houndstooth fabric. All right, and we're going to start with this. Let's see, where are we? Number 20. This one is 2.5 by 6.5, so that means I recommend 3x7. If you have enough fabric, 3x7 gives you that little leeway and gives you that tack down, but 2.5 by 6.5 will work. All right, so this is border block number 20, 2.5 by 6.5, or preferably 3x7. All right, and then 3x7 for your batting. For border block number 20, 3x7 for your batting. All right, and then for this one, we're going to quilt this one. It looks like I have chevron 2. So I'm going to do chevron 2. So this one, they recommend, let me think here. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. Chevron 2. That is the one that Kimberbell recommends, and that will be fine for this busier fabric. All right, Chevron 2, you're going to want a 2x6 quilting design. It's going to go this way, by the way, in the when we piece it all together. All right, so Chevron 2 in a 2x6. This is for border block number 20 in section 10. All right. And then the next one and the last one for section 10, the border block. So if you have the old fabric from years ago, it is this green chevron fabric. All right. And this one, we're going to start with this. So they have it at 4.5 by 6.5. So my recommendation is 5 by 7. It's going to go this way. So you can see this is a directional fabric. So keep that in mind. It is chevron. And you can see that it is going, what is that? Vertically, right? Because, well, I guess it depends on how you hold it, maybe. It's going to go this way. So it is going vertically, all right, because we're going to have it this way in our quilt. So this one, like I said, in the book, it'll say 4.5 by 6.5. So my recommendation is 5 by 7 if you have that extra fabric, all right. And then the batting, so also there is a substitution. So this is the original fabric from years ago. If you bought from our sponsor, they sent you the green lines fabric. I think it's called awning, actually. All right, so the green awning fabric. And again, this is a directional, so keep that in mind, how you want yours to be. It's your quilt, your way. All right, so in the book, it's going to go this way, which means that the lines are going vertically. So you probably want your vertical lines, but whatever works for you. All right, 4.5 by 6.5, or preferably 5 by 7. Okay, and then for your batting, same thing, 5 by 7 for your batting. All right, 5 by 7 for your batting. And then the quilting design, you have an option. So if you have this lines fabric, then let me see what my notes are. I wrote down lines 3. So lines 3 is simple lines, and it is in the Jingle All the Way bundle. And that will be great. You can use that whichever fabric you have, but I'm going to go with this chevron. So there is a chevron 1 quilting design from Kimberbell, and I'm going to go with that because it exactly matches the fabric. So I'm going to go with that. So depending on your fabric and your personal choice, I'm going to go with chevron 1. Where's my notes? Chevron 1 in a vertical is what I'm going to do. All right, chevron 1 in a vertical. Or you can do lines 3. All right, and that is in the Jingle All the Way bundle. Or you could do chevron 2, that's also in the Jingle All the Way bundle, whatever works for you. All right, so 4 by 6 for your quilting, 4 by 6, whatever quilting design you choose, 4 by 6. All right, those are the two quilting, the two border blocks for section 10. And then we're going to add, because we're going to have a little bit of extra room in our hooping. And again, you could take a break and do the next part a little bit later. You can do them together, because when you're saving on space in your hoop, it saves on stabilizer, it saves on time, it's quick and easy to, I'll show you how to do it to get them all organized. So I'm going to add to it just since we're going to have a little bit of extra room. So section 11 is the next part, and there's just one simple border block. Look at that, nice and easy. All right, one border block for section 7. It's shown on page 13 and 15 of the oldest Jingle book. And when I say 13 and 15, it in section or on page 15 it shows how it's going to lay out once we sew them all together, and on page 13 it shows the actual list of border blocks and their sizes. So that's why it's 13 and 15. All right, so on this one it is going to be this red houndstooth fabric excuse me, red houndstooth fabric, and we're going to start with this at 4.5 by 6.5. So my recommendation is 5 by 7 if you're able. Make sure to back it with fusible stabilizer so it doesn't pull in and make the block smaller, especially if you are not cutting it bigger. All right, because you just want to make sure that those blocks are going to fit together. There was a gal in our group that spritzed it with something or other when she was ironing her blocks, and that made her blocks smaller, and she actually had to redo it. So on these that are like the exact size is in the book of what you're going to sew the blocks together at, that's where you really want to be careful and try and give yourself a little bit of leeway if you're able. All right, so again, backing it with fusible stabilizer will help, and then also cutting it a little bit bigger just to make sure. All right, so 5 by 7 for this number 22 border block in section 11. And then for your batting, same thing, you want it to be 5 by 7. All right, 5 by 7 for your batting for section 11, block 22, border block 22. All right, and then on this one, the quilting design, you're not going to see much here. I'm going to just use lines 3 in vertical. Lines 3 vertical is in the Jingle All the Way bundle. It's a 4 by 6 quilting design, so you can use any quilting design that you want that is 4 by 6. The other thing is, if you wanted, you can customize this block. Originally, I thought I was going to customize it, but then I realized it's pretty close to, it's like really close to that magical block that we just customized, and so I decided not to. Your quilt your way. If you want to add to this, you can. It's pretty busy fabric, but if you just did a simple word in a color that stands out, you could certainly do that. All right, that's for section 11. Simple. That one is done. And we have one more. And again, you don't have to do it now. You could do it later. But what that does is it gives there's a little bit of extra room on our hoop, depending on your hoop size. And so I'm going to go ahead and get this one done now. There's only one border block. We're going to jump. We're not going to do section 12 today. We're going to jump to section 13 just because of the one border block. All right, so section 13, one simple border block. So let me change pages. So this one, it's on pages 13 and 16. So I'm going to jump to that page real quick. And we do have some other blocks in this section 13 that we need to do, but this one simple border block, might as well get it out of the way when we have a little bit of extra room in our hoop. All right, so on this one, it is the black plaid fabric. All right, and where's all my notes? Right there on the other page. So on this one, this is border block number 23. And it says to cut it 2.5 by 6.5. So that means that my recommendation is 3 by 7. It's going to go this way, 3 by 7 for your fabric if you have enough, backed with fusible stabilizer. And then your batting, same thing, 3 by 7 for your batting. All right, 3 by 7 for your batting. And then on this one, I'm going to quilt this with Celebration 3. It's in the Jingle All the Way bundle. It's the bows. I think that will be really cute, and it's a pretty busy fabric, so whatever works for you. Celebration 3 in a 2 by 6 quilting design. 2 by 6 quilting design. All right. And I think that there's a horizontal and vertical on this, but it doesn't matter. So I'll show you when we get there, but I remember it doesn't matter. Like the bows are the same direction or something. I don't recall exactly, but anyway, so that's it. So if you count it, let's see, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 blocks. We're going to do 8 blocks today. But again, it's 2 hoopings, and most of them go together. One of them we're just going to save for later. That section 13, when you complete this one, don't sew it to anything. Just put it back in your bag to save for when we finish off section 13, because we do have some blocks that we need to do of that. All right, so easy day, kind of a little bit of information as far as some of the blocks are a little bit odd. That last No Time Like the Presents block, the sizing is a little bit odd just because it doesn't totally go with the Kimberbell quilting designs. Keep in mind that they did this way before they came out with quilting designs. Do you remember? They came out with quilting designs during the Love Notes quilt. So that was what, like February of 2020, I think. I don't remember, maybe even later than that. But this Jingle All the Way has been out for years. I've had it sitting in my stash for years. So that's why it doesn't totally go with the quilting designs, but when you stretch that holly leaves, it looked great. It didn't change it at all. It was not a problem. And I'll show you that when I bring you over to the computer. All right, so I'm going to do it in 2 hoopings. I'm going to use my 9x14 hoop. If you don't have that large of a hoop, you can do it in more hoopings. Either way, they're easy blocks, just a lot of information. So let's go ahead and get started. Hey everyone, I am on my laptop computer because the microphone works great with my laptop. So there will be a couple of things that'll look a little bit different, but for the most part, it should work really well. So I'm going to open up Embellishment Essentials and I'm going to show you how to merge those blocks into 2 or more hoopings depending on your hoop size. So the first thing is to always check the hoop that you're on down here at the bottom. It says I'm on my 9x14 hoop. That is what I want. If you're not on the hoop size you want, come up here to the Preferences folder, click on that, choose the hoop size you want, say OK, and come up to this compass button and click H for hoop so it zooms into the hoop. All right, so I'm going to start by bringing in the 2B, the left and right side of the puzzle. So, sorry, I've got 2 video cameras. I'm looking at the wrong one. All right, so we need a 2x10 quilting design. This is that one that I was telling you that I'm going to stretch it a little bit. So I'm going to bring in Christmas 7. I transferred them to my Dropbox so that I could find them easily on this computer. So I'm just going to scroll down to Embroidery Files, Jingle All the Way, and they probably haven't loaded all the way, so we may not see the photos of them, but that's all right. So Christmas 7 is the quilting design. That's the one that looks like holly. So I'm going to go to Embroidery Files. Pez is what I use for my machine. And I can't see the pictures of them, but that's okay. I know we want the 2x10 quilting design. And like I said, I'm going to make this, I'm going to stretch it a little bit bigger. I don't recall if I used the horizontal. I think it didn't matter, actually, is what I recall. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this 2x10 Christmas 7 horizontal, and I'm just going to drag it over to my workspace. And then I'll shrink that folder down so it's out of our way. All right, so from here, I'm just going to drag it all the way over to the left side, making sure not to go over the hoop. And this is the one that I was saying that I'm going to stretch it. You can do what works for you. Down here at the bottom, it says the size. So it's 2.5 by 10.5, and I want it to be 3.5 by 10.5. So one important thing is this button right here, it looks like a little lock. This makes it so that it will scale it proportionally. So like if I type in 3.5, it will change this bottom number as well, and I don't want it to do that. So I'm going to click this so that it is not locked, and I'm going to type in that 3. I want it 3.5. All right, and I'm going to hit I think you can click elsewhere, or I just clicked on this bottom number to have it go ahead and make it. So you can see the holly leaves are not unproportioned. They might be a tiny bit wider. I'm super okay with that. So I like this. This is exactly the size that I want it to be. And that's what is important to me at this point, because I want the quilting design to be 3x10. And as we know, the third and fourth part of the quilting design is what makes it that extra 1/2 inch. So the quilting design itself, if I click on that, it's the 5th part of the design. You can see down here at the bottom, it's 3 1/8 by 10 1/4, it looks like. So it's accurate, it's close. All right, so that's what I wanted. So I made it just a little bit bigger by stretching it. And some designs you can't do that. It's going to distort it a lot, but I checked these holly leaves and it worked just fine. All right, so while I'm here, I'm going to go ahead and change these colors so that I can do a color sort when I'm done. I'm going to click on 1-1. I'm going to click on the colors. I didn't set up my thread colors. I forgot about doing that. I set up a lot of different things on this computer, but I didn't do that. So let's see. Yeah, it's not going to give me that option. If I go to preferred, let's see if it gives me. No. So I need to just set this stuff up, and I'm not going to waste your time. So I'm just going to go to thread, and I'm going to pick the first color for Brother Embroidery that comes up as sky blue. And I'm going to say, okay. and then 1, 2, click on the color, and I'm going to choose the first color that comes up for me, that is deep gold. And 1, 3, click on the color. I'm going to choose the second color down, which for me is electric blue in Brother Embroidery. And then 1, 4, click on the color, and I'm going to use the second color down. That for me, that's beige. And then 1, 5, click on the color. These are going to be on black fabrics. So I'm going to use the first color that comes up for me, that's teal green, and say okay. So that one is all done. I'm going to click outside so nothing is selected. And again, when I say outside, click in your workspace or click in the objects window, whatever, just to make it deselect the last thing that you were on. All right, and then I'm going to click on that whole design. So I make sure to click on the stitching, and I'm going to say, I have to use my keyboard up here, Control C to copy it, and then Control V like victory to paste it. It goes right on top of that first one. So I'm just going to drag it over here to get that file. All right, so that is really good. I have to remember that I am going to move these, but all right, so these are both on black, and so I can keep that Brother Teal. If I wanted a different color, then I would have to change that last color, that 2, 5, to a different one, but these are both on black, so I want that to be as it is. All right, so those two are done. Now I'm going to bring in that center ribbon, that tiny little ribbon, and that's the one I was telling you. I'm going to use the border block. So I'm going to go to, actually I'm going to go back to that folder. You could go to Merge Stitch File and navigate to the folder, or if you have the folder handy, that's convenient as well. All right, so it's basically just asking you, well, where's this folder that you want me to open up? Or where's this file? All right, so I'm going to use the border design. Here it is, Border Christmas. So it is in the Jingle All the Way bundle. I only brought over what I needed. I didn't bring the entire bundle over because it takes a while to load it to Dropbox. So this is just the quickest option. So see, there's a 1x7, 1x10, 1x12, 1x14. This 1x12, I wonder if it'll tell me. That might actually be closer now that I think about it. I'm going to bring this over just so I can see how long it is. Excuse Archer shaking. All right, so this file, I'm going to shrink this down so it's out of our way. This file, this is the 1x12. So it's 1.5 by 11 3/4. So it's a little bit too big. The other one's a little bit too short. I think either way is going to be fine. I'm going to go ahead and just shrink it a little bit. I was going to make the other one longer, but now I'll just make this one a little bit smaller. So I'm going to change it to, say, 10.5. Keep forgetting which keyboard I'm using. 10.5. And again, I have this unlocked so that it won't change this, the width of it. It'll only change the length, and then just click elsewhere so that it changes. And you can see that was super easy to do, super easy, and that is all ready. So I want to change these colors again. This center one is on a red fabric, so I want to make sure to have a different so that it'll stop, so that I can change my thread color. So I'm going to click on 3-1, click on the color, and this part I want all the same as this other part so that I can do all of the batting at one time and all of the placement stitches and all of that. So I'm going to click sky blue. And then 3-2, click on the color down in the properties window. I'm going to choose deep gold. 3-3, click on the color. I'm going to choose electric blue, the second color down. 3-4, click on the color, and I'm going to choose cream brown. That doesn't sound right. Oh, you know why? It's because this is a border, and so the borders are a little bit different. I forgot about that. So let me think here. I'll just say okay for now. So sky blue, deep gold. So those are our placement for our placement and tack down for our batting. So that's perfect. And then this is the placement for the border fabric, and then the tack down of the border fabric. And it doesn't tack all the way around like other blocks do. A border, it just does the two sides. So that will be fine. It's just going to tack it down. So I could, let's see here. So I used electric blue and then beige. I could change it to beige, and then it'll do it at the same time with the others. I think I'll do that. So I'm going to click on here, and let's see if I can type in beige to find beige. Turn, there's beige. Say okay. All right, so I'm just doing that so that when I put the fabrics down for all 3 of them, it will tack it down at the same time. I still want it to stop for me to change the thread color when I do the quilting design, but for the placement, tack down, I want it to do all of those together so I don't have to worry about it. All right, so that one's done. I changed it to beige. And then for 3-5, I'm going to change the color. Yep. All right, so 3-5, click on the color, and I want it different than this teal green that we used above because this is on a different color fabric. So I want it to stop so that I can change my thread. So I'm going to choose Sea Crest as the second color down. And say okay, and that's done. Click outside so nothing's selected. Now I'm going to move these up because I'm going to bring in that little border block down here. So I'm just going to click on, I can probably click on all of them. Let's do that. If I make this bigger, if it'll give me, yeah, so usually there's this little thing over on the side. Oh, I bet it's over here. There we go. All right, so that little close box, I'm just going to close these so I can see all of them. Click down from the bottom and drag up. So now I have all 3, and then I can use the arrow keys on my laptop to bring them up to the top, making sure not to go over the hoop. All right, that's nice and easy. All right, click outside so nothing's selected, and I'm going to bring in our last design for this hoop. And let's see, I was going to use the number 20 border block, so I'm going to use chevron 2. So I'm going to go to that folder that I've got my files in and just navigate to where I have my folder, and I'm doing chevron 2 right there. And this one we wanted a 2x6. This is for border block number 20. So 2x6, and there's horizontal or vertical. Did I write down what I wanted? Horizontal, chevron 2, 2x6 in a horizontal. That's vertical, 2x6 right there. All right, so drag it over. When you do it from the folder, you drag it over. When you do it from merge stitch file, you double click on it. All right, so click on the design. So notice that when I clicked, it brought up that ribbon folder. So I want to make sure that I can see it well enough that I'm clicking on the correct thing. So I'm going to click this way in the objects window, click on that, and then I'm just going to bring it down a little bit so that it's not on top of that other one, so that it's not clicking on those. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to rotate this. So I'm going to just click a left rotate, and then now that it's not over on top of everything else, I can click on the stitching and drag it down. All right. Now I want to change those colors again so that I can do all of these at the same time. So I'm going to go ahead and open this little plus sign here, click outside so nothing's selected, and I'm going to go back to 4-1, and then in the properties window, click on the color, and I'm going to choose sky blue. 4-2, click on the color, I want deep gold. 4-3, click on the color, and I want electric blue. 4-4, click on the color, and I want beige. And then let's see, this one is on black, but I don't know if I'll use the same thread color as the other black fabric, so I'm going to go ahead and just choose a different color so that it stops, so that I can make that decision when I get there. So I'm going to click on 4-5, click on the color, and I've already used teal green and sea crest, so I'm going to choose light blue. Say okay. And that one is done. Now we just need to do our color sort. Let's see, I'm gonna make this a little smaller if I can, because it's covering. There we go. All right, so it says we have 20 color steps. You probably didn't see that this is in the way, but my software is the video editing, or not video editing, video screen recorder is in the way of me seeing this number. So that's why I moved it up a little bit. All right, so we have 20 color steps right now. So I'm going to go to utility color sort. And don't forget, you want to have these same settings. Tolerance is 0. None of these are checked. Click new view. It says it's reduced it by 13 color changes. So I'm going to click new view and make sure that they're all together the way that I wanted them. So I'm going to open this up, and there is our placement for our batting on all 4 blocks. So that's perfect. They're grouped together. And then the tack down for those 4 blocks. The placement for the fabric on all 4 is great. And then the tack down, including that one that doesn't go all the way around. So that's perfect. And then the first quilting design and the second quilting design and the third quilting design. So that's perfect. That worked out exactly how I wanted it. So I'm going to do a file, save stitch file as, and let's see, I need to go to my Dropbox folder so I can get it on my computer. And I'm going to go to embroidery files, Jingle All the Way temporary folder, and I'm going to name this, I'm going to name it the present. So it's that No Time Like the Presents. I'm going to name it that. So move my my microphone a little bit. No Time Like Presents 3, because this is number 3. All right, there's also that border block, but this will remind me. I could just say hoop 1, whatever works, whatever makes it so that you know what you have and are ready. And I think I set up my machine to be able to transfer this. So let's try that. So I'm going to say utility. Where is it? Oh, it's different on this one. It says Wi-Fi to Brother Baby Lock versus the my other computer. It says send to Solaris XP1. So Wi-Fi to Brother, say okay. File sent to machine. Yay, that was great. So somebody sent me a message the other day asking how to set that up. There's only some machines that will do it, but the easy way to do it is you just go to your machine and go into the settings there and set up your Wi-Fi, and then it finds it immediately, like super easy. So it's not a difficult thing to do. All right, so that first hooping is done. I'm going to do File New Page to get our second hooping. I'm going to bring this down a bit again so I can see the whole hoop. Actually, it's showing me the whole hoop. That's good. All right, so I have a few blocks to bring in for this one. We did border block 20. So we're going to jump into the A. So that's the top of the No Time Like the Presents block, and we need a 4x6 quilting design. I'm using Winter 1 in horizontal for that. So hopefully I transferred it. Let's see. Jingle All the Way temporary folder, Winter 1, good. And we want a 4x6 in horizontal. 4x6. Let's see. There it is. Good. I was like, uh-oh. All right, 4x6, Winter 1, horizontal. Grab it, drag it over. All right, so this is the one that it's going to be horizontal in our hoop. So those lines will come down like the snow is falling down. So horizontal works fine, works good. All right, so I'm going to click on the stitching, drag it up to the top here, and I'm going to quickly change these colors. Click outside so nothing's selected, and then click on 1-1 and click in the properties window on the color, and I'm going to choose sky blue, say okay, and then 1-2, click on the color, and I'm going to choose deep gold. 1-3, click on the color, and I'm going to choose the second color down for me, that's electric blue. 1-4, click on the color, second color down for me is beige. 1-5, click on the color. This is on white fabric, so I'm going to choose teal green, and I'm just going to keep that in mind so I know what, I'll probably change them for all of them just in case, but we'll see. All right, that one is done and easy. Next one is border block number 21. That also is a 4.5 by 6.5 fabric, and so I'm going, this is the one that has that chevron, and so I'm going to do the chevron 1, right? This is the one I said you could do chevron 2, that's in the Jingle All the Way bundle, quilting bundle, or the lines 3 is also in the quilting bundle, but I want to do chevron 1. So I'm going to go back to that folder, and let's see, Jingle All the Way and chevron 1 right there. And let's see if it loaded them all. There we go. Good. All right, so we want a 4x6, and I am doing vertical. I'm doing vertical. All right, 4x6 in a vertical right there. I don't think it matters. It just depends on well, it does matter because of the fabric. The fabric is directional. I was going to say, as long as you have your fabric going in the direction, I'm going to check that fabric real quick. Hold on. So I don't want vertical. I want horizontal, because our fabric, when it's laying vertically, which I think in the hoop it's going to lay horizontally, but it's a 4x6. It's not a square. So think of it going this way. You want it to be the same direction. So actually I want it to go the other. I want horizontal, not that one. So I'm going to click on this and click delete on my laptop. All right, and then I'm going to go back to that folder and I'm going to choose the horizontal. There it is. Phew. Okay, so then, then my chevron is going to be the same direction as my fabric. All right, so that's good. I click on this so that it makes that folder go back, and I'm just going to drag this up here to the corner. Now there's a 1/2 inch of fabric extra on these. That's not very much. There will be a tiny bit of overlap, but not so much that it's going to bother me. So I'm going to go ahead and change these colors. Click outside so nothing selected. Click on 2-1, click on the color. I'm going to choose sky blue. 2-2, click on the color. I'm going to choose deep gold. 2-3, click on the color. I'm going to choose the second color down. For me, that's electric blue. 2-4, click on the color. Second color down for me is beige. 2-5, click on the color. This is on green fabric, so I want it different than that white. I'm going to not choose teal green because that's what I used up here. I'm going to use the next color down. For me, that's sea crest, and say, okay, that creates that stop. All right, that one is done. That was for border block number 21. So border block number 22, I don't have in my notes. I believe it is, it's that red houndstooth one. So I'm going to need another 4x6 quilting design. And this one I'm using lines 3. So I'm going to go back to that folder and Jingle All the Way, lines 3, embroidery files, Pez. And I want lines 3, and it says in vertical. I'm going to confirm that. There's the lines 3, drag it over in vertical. And, oh, this one is the houndstooth. I was thinking if it's lines, but it's not. It's houndstooth, so it's not going to matter at all. It is going horizontally in our quilt, so a horizontal, it's actually vertical, but our fabric is going to be the other way. This is way too small. I did the 2x4. Sorry, click on that, click delete. I need the 4x6, my mistake. Down here, 4x6. And what did I say? Vertical. Lines 3, 4x6, vertical. Drag that over. Yep, that's a much better size, huh? Sorry about that. All right, and I'm just dragging it down here to the bottom, and I'm going to quickly change these colors. Click outside so nothing's selected. Click on 3-1, click on the color. I'm going to choose sky blue. 3-2, click on the color. I'm going to choose deep gold. 3-3, click on the color, and I'm going to choose the second color down. For me, that's electric blue. 3-4, click on the color. Second color down for me is beige. 3-5, click on the color. This one's on red and white fabric, so I definitely want it different. I think I used light blue last time. There's the sea crest. So number 3, light blue is what I'm choosing. Okay. Click outside so nothing's selected. And last one, this is that littler one that is part of 13. It's border block number 23. It's from section 3. We need a 2x6 quilting design. So I'm going to go back to my folder, and this one I'm doing Celebrate 3. That's the one that has the bows. Embroidery files, Pez, and we want a 2x6 design. And this is the one there's horizontal or vertical, and I can't see them because my file hasn't completely loaded, but I'm just going to drag this one over Oh, there's not. What different? My mistake. 2 by 6. I was thinking there's a horizontal and a vertical. There's not, which really wouldn't make any sense anyway. All right, I'm going to click on that and I'm going to bring it over to the corner here. And I just need to change these colors very quickly. This is going very well. All right, click outside so nothing's selected. Click on 4-1, click on the color. I'm going to choose the first color, that's sky blue. 4-2, click on the color. I'm going to choose deep gold. 4-3, click on the color. I want the second color. For me, that's electric blue. 4-4, click on the color. I want beige. And then 4-5. And this one is on black and white plaid. So I look at that because if there's two together, you could join them, but it really doesn't matter. All right, 4-5, click on the color. I want the fourth color down because I used light blue last time. I'm going to choose not sky blue because then it'll clash with our placement for our batting, and not electric blue. I'm going to choose the next color down. For me, that's pewter. Just make sure that it's not a color you've already used. Otherwise, those parts will join the parts that you don't want to join. All right, defeating the whole purpose of here. Click outside so nothing's selected. How many steps do we have? We have 20 color steps right now. So I'm going to go to Utility Color Sort. Make sure that all of your blocks are how you want them before you do your color sort. Once you do a color sort, it brings them all into one design, and then you can't move the blocks. So just take a quick peek and make sure your blocks are how you want them. Mine are good. I'm going to say color sort and make sure you've got these same settings. It's reduced it by 12 color changes. Click New View so it opens another tab so we can check it. There is our placement for our batting, our tack down for our batting, our placement for our main fabric. See how those are all joined together. So that's exactly what we wanted. And our tack down for our main fabric, and then the first quilting design, second quilting design, third quilting design, and fourth quilting design. Perfect. So easy. All right. And we stretched those other blocks on our other one, and we brought one longer. So that part's already all done. So I'm going to do a file, save stitch file as, and I'm in my temporary folder. I'm going to name this border blocks. Border blocks. Name it whatever works for you. This is going into a temporary folder, so there's not other things I don't need to worry about. You could say section 10, but it's really 10, 11, and part of 13. So I'm just going to say border blocks. Say save, and then I'm going to send it to my machine. So convenient. If you don't have that option, you would just save it to a USB stick. Bring your USB stick over to your embroidery machine. All right. Easy peasy, and we are ready to get stitching. my shirt today. I have been dying to show you this one. I think it's so darn cute. So remember a couple weeks ago, if you're in the Facebook group on Cristin Creates, and if you're not, come on. It's so much fun in there. You should definitely join in there. Everybody shares photos of their projects, and it's so much camaraderie. Like if it was just me talking on these YouTube videos, I'd be out like a long time ago. It'd be too boring for me. The fun is the interaction in the group. I enjoy the interaction of the group and the interaction with the comments on YouTube, but really the group is fun. If you're not in there, you should join in there. So a couple weeks ago, I told you about a sweater that was $9. $9. You can get a sweater that is $9. Like, how cool is that? And there were several colors too. So I bought one just to test it because I was like, $9, I don't know. And it's great. It's a great sweater. I'm definitely going to buy more. So it is fleece lined. So it's nice and warm. So that's one thing. If you're in Florida, you might not need a fleece lined sweater, but in Idaho, we need it. Believe me. So I was really excited. I was like, oh, what am I going to put on this one? I mean, a $9 sweater, and such a good deal. And I found this design and I added to it, and I love it. It's like my current favorite sweater. So I have to show you this. This is really fun and really cute. Isn't this so fun? So if I recall, darn, I have to remember where I got the design. It's a very simple, you can see it's not a whole lot to it. It's like a line design, and then there's little parts where like the sewing machine is filled in, and her little hair scrunchie, and her chair, and her shoes. Everything else is just a line design, like super simple. And I will add a link underneath this video of where I got the design. And then I added in the wording and the Bible verse because I just thought that was so fun. As soon as I saw it, I was like, this is so me. Like, I need this. I was just really excited when I found this design, and it came out so fun on this sweater. I absolutely love it. It was really fun. This is a really cute one. I made another one that's kind of similar, and I love it. It's such a cute, fun design. So I will add information under this video of where I got the design. I'll add a little text box here as well, but a direct link under the video. When I say under the video, it's in the video notes. And the sweater, you have to get it. It's $9. And there's several different colors, and you have to click on each of the colors to see which one is $9. I think the most was like $13. I'm not absolutely sure, but each color has a different price, and it changes like every day. They sometimes the purple one is $9, and sometimes the pink one is $9. And I just saw this one and I grabbed it, and then I told everybody about it, and then everybody's commenting going, I got the pink one. It was only $9. I'm like, how did I not get the pink one? So I need to shop some more. So I will add a link here to my Amazon storefront. I will put this sweater in there. Definitely get it. I mean, how can you go wrong? $9. I absolutely love it. And it's a really good cut for me. I don't like the ones that are super long that go past your bum, because I have a short torso. So for me, those look like I'm just wearing a garbage bag. Like, seriously, I have no waist, it's just, and I have big hips. So it just doesn't look good on me when they're super long. And this is not super long. It's not short at all. It's not like a showing your tummy type of sweater, because I don't like those either. This is perfect for me. I really like it. It basically hits at my hips. And so if you have a super long torso, it may hit a little differently on you, but I love this sweater. I absolutely love it. I absolutely think it's just the perfect size for me. It's not those really long ones or really wide ones. It's a good sweater for me. And it comes in all the different sizes. So whatever works for you, but check out my Amazon storefront. I will add a link to it in there. And how are you doing with your goal? I want to hear about your goal. So we are finishing up January. This is the last day of January. You'll see it in February, but because it'll take me time to stitch everything out and take all the bazillion photos and do the video editing. So it'll take you a little while, but for me, it's the last day of January, and I worked it hard. So I heard the second Friday in January, people start to drop their goals. And I heard that and I was like, yeah, I'm not doing that. I'm absolutely not going to do that. So I have worked my goal very hard. So even last night, I have to tell you, I wanted sugar. I love sugar. I really like sugar. And last night, my hubby was eating all kinds of stuff, like he ate ice cream and Doritos, and I don't even know. I saw him like sneaking stuff out of the pantry from like a candy bag. So he was eating all kinds of junk. And I wanted junk bad, and I didn't. I did so good. I've been really good. I've been working it really hard, and the scale doesn't necessarily show it. I've lost a little bit. I think I've lost 4 pounds in January. And I'm just thankful for that, because I'm on this cancer pill that it does not let you lose weight. But the good thing is I'm working it hard. I am eating really healthy. I'm having the energy from my exercise. I've been running and hiking. So I finished this Swiss Alps series that I was doing that was awesome. Like massive hiking where even my hands were sweating. I was like so sweaty. Kind of gross, but really, really sweaty, really, really working it. And so I finished that series. I was very proud of myself. I think there were like 30 workouts in it, maybe 20, I don't remember, but a lot. And now I joined this other series that is in Scotland, and it's with this guy with a strong accent. If you ever watched the movie Outlanders, he's like the uncle, I think it is, if I recall. But anyway, iFit. So check out iFit. I have a membership, but I think on your phone it's free, and it just doesn't connect to like at home. It moves my treadmill. It changes elevation and speed, and it does all the things. But at the gym, I just turn it on my phone, and I get to watch and listen to these awesome stories and telling you about the area, and you're climbing up these amazing hills that I'll never see in my lifetime for sure. And it's just beautiful. So much fun. I mean, it makes you feel like you're in another country, somewhere that I'm sure I'll never go. And I love it. I love iFit. So anyway, so this trainer, he's taking us up these monster hills in Scotland. And today we went down because we climbed 2 big hikes the day before, and then so earlier today at the gym we were running down this hill. He's not running, he's older, and he's just hiking down this hill. And so I was running on my treadmill the whole time, and then the next workout was hiking. So I'm like hiking up these monster hills at 12 to 15% grade and just loving it. I'm working it really hard, eating healthy, doing all the things, and sleeping better, drinking tons of water, eating healthy to be able to feel good. So I'm working it hard. I also have made some things in between. I need to do that a little bit more, but it's hard with these videos. They take up so much time. So, but I'm doing all the things and enjoying the process. So I want to hear about your goal. And did you finish off January really good? Did you drop it? Did you come back to it? I want to hear about your goal and how you're doing.